Morning Nigeria, welcome to the newspaper review here on TAP TV, where we give you headlines or what is making rounds for daily newspaper. My name is Benjamin Agbile and I'm your host for today. And here on the Nation newspaper we have Tinubu rallies governors on massive food production. You find that on the Nation newspaper on page 5. And on page 4 of the Nation newspaper, Rivers crisis, PDP has failed us, says Fubara. And on page 5 again, surveillance operative uncover oil theft scam. That you'll find that on the Nation's newspaper. And here on the Punch newspaper, we have NNPC to boost economy with $4 billion gas project. That you find that on page 22 of the Punch newspaper. Cholera, government eyes vaccine donation as case hit 1,579. That will be found on page 29 of the Nation newspaper. Blackmail can't stop new presidential jet approval, Senate. Page 28 of the Nation newspaper. And on page 2 of the Nation newspaper, 2023 budget. Federal government okays DAC extension to for store abandoned project. That will find on the page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Federal government rolls out 1 trillion naira palliatives, massive construction projects. That will be found on the page 19 of Punch newspaper. And on page 7 of the Nation newspaper we have soldiers repel IPOP attack on Ebonyi police station, kill 5. That will be found on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. Police vow to apprehend killers of 6 Imo traders. That will be found on page 5 of the Punch newspaper. States should negotiate minimum wage. Southern governors. That will be found on page 29 of the newspaper. Okay, that is all we have on our newspaper headlines today. We'll be hitting out the street to hear what the Nigerians have to say on this. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
So, on our newspaper headline today, we see on the page 5 of the newspaper headline says, Tinubu relies on governors on massive food production. What do you have to say about this?
I feel like this is due to the current state that we find ourselves as a nation today. And I feel like it's one thing that at this point in time, as a nation, over 60 years, this is like the 63rd year, or 64th year when it gets to October 1st. And we are still on the process of relying on the government to give us the basic things that we need, which has to do with food production in terms of our agricultural sector, and also keeping our economy in a basic state whereby every citizen can purchase the basic things that they need. But owing to that, according to the report, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as of yesterday, being represented during the National Economic Committee meeting, came out to say that every governor at his or her own state should go back and do the needful in terms of food production. Food production in the essence of making sure and empowering every agricultural person, that is talking about farmers and whoever that is involved in terms of production of basic things that is edible to our body. And I feel like, should we be discussing this at this particular point in time? Is this supposed to be our conversation as a nation, the 21st century, 2024? And at the end of the day, I tend to look at the situation of things and I weep. And I weep at the state of the nation currently. I weep at the state at which every Nigerian man, every civil servant, every person out there trying to meet ends meet is finding it difficult to feed, which is not supposed to be. Now, at the end of the day, I feel like this is a good call from the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's a good call in terms of charging these governors on the basic thing, because he is the head of the country and he's not the head of the state, in terms of having a close relation, as it deals with the governor and every other agricultural producer in each state. Because once hunger is being cautioned in different states, then definitely Nigeria as a whole will get back to its normal state. But beyond all of that, the president is coming out to say, oh, there will be a construction project going from the train station that is going to link River State to, I think, Kaduna also, and also looking at the one that is supposed to link, I think, Lagos State to other states, as the case may be. Yes, construction of roads and train stations, transportation and all of that, it's a good cause. And also coming out to say that he wants to give 50,000 to, I think, 100,000 families in the Federation. I don't think that this is what we should be discussing at this point in time. Instead of using that money to give to 100,000 families and approximately 3-something million families in each of the states. That's 3.6 million families in the Federation as a whole. That's 100,000 families in each state. Why not channel that money? And this fund will be released for 3 months, as the case may be. Why not channel this particular money in creating a favorable economy, creating an avenue for job creation in the state? Do you think that if every Nigerian family has people that goes for their daily needs and their daily life in terms of getting a job and all of that, and they secure a job and going every day just to be productive with themselves, do you think the president of the nation will be saying he wants to grant people the amount of 50,000 naira every month, 100,000 families? That is not what we need at this point in time. So I think this is something that the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria should go back on, sit with the Senate, and they should come up with something that is favorable for the nation and not giving us loan. I say always, give us the basic things that we need: good road, a good health sector, give us a favorable economy for every business to flourish, and then the sky will be our starting point as a nation.
Okay, and with everything you've said, you mentioned the project, the intention of the government on the project of the railway and other things. You know, for previous years, we have had a lot of promises like this. So what makes you think this particular promise will come to limelight?
Nigeria as a nation, we don't think, we hope.
Okay.
That is what we do. As a nation, that is what we always do. That is what we have always been doing. Every citizen of Nigeria, what keeps us on our daily life is the hope that Nigeria will become better again. And that is our prayer. Nigeria will become better again. Nigeria will become great again. I'm trying to wonder, has Nigeria ever been great before? So, but the case may be, like you said, these are promises coming out every time. For every government coming into power, they come up with different promises, but at the end of the day, they don't tend to fulfill it. They might try to fulfill, let's say, 1% out of 100%, which is like very poor. Sorry to say.
So, in the same meeting that was held yesterday, as Shetima, the vice president, was represented our dear president, he said about Tinubu saying the governors, a governor of each state to negotiate on what they want to pay as a minimum wage. What's your thought on this?
The truth about this particular story is just very key. Key in the sense that over time, as of last year, in short, time immemorial, if I could remember, the NLC have been having meetings with the federal government about the minimum wage, and different amount has been raised in terms of what should be given as the minimum wage for the common man in Nigeria. And at the end of the day, no particular amount has been met. But at the end of the day, no particular amount has been met, and this is really sad as a nation that we are, that for over time we are still deliberating on the same issue. We are still talking about the same thing. We come every day to stand at the newspaper stand, and the first headline we see is about the minimum wage. Why are we still on this? If that is what I should ask, why are we still on the same issue at this point in time? So the meeting they had yesterday, the Forum of Governors, basically it was the Southern governors that came out with this, that every state governor should go back home and deliberate with the Nigeria Labour Congress, their section in each state, on the particular amount of minimum wage they would want to pay in their respective state. Would this be a good one? I think this would affect a particular state that is not producing internally in terms of their GDP. if a state's GDP is very low, then I don't think it will be able to pay its workers a good amount in terms of the minimum wage, because you have, I feel like countries that are, I feel like states, oil producing states will definitely have to pay more to the civil servants, unlike states that have little or no source of internal revenue. So how do you want them to cope? But with all of this, I tend to ask myself, what about those people that are working for the federal government? Who would determine their minimum wage? Is it not still going to be the federal government? So why not allow that particular minimum wage be general for every citizen in Nigeria, every citizen in Nigeria, for every basic earner in Nigeria? Let there be a particular minimum wage that cuts across all the states, and with that, I feel like that would be a good one.
Okay. One last question, please. With the economic crisis this Nigeria is facing presently, do you think the NLC are asking for too much?
Have we ever been asking for too much? If you have been following the news recently, you see that just recently the Senate House just approved a private jet, the budget for the private jet for our president. What do you need that for? What do you need that? Why not use that money to do something better for your country? Why not use that money to create job employment? Why not use that money to make sure that our health sector is working better? Why not use that money to make sure that our doctors are not leaving the shores of this country to look for greener pastures outside? Why not make sure that every basic sector in the country is functioning properly? Why not make sure that our agricultural sector, as the case may be, where every citizen is crying for hunger, why not invest in the agricultural sector? And with all of this happening, I don't think that the NLC are asking for too much. Nigeria has the money. They should pay. They should encourage their workers. And with all of this, I believe everybody will go back to what this nation is dreamt to look like.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Have a nice day. All right. You all have heard what Nigerians have to say out there. And you also can be part of this show. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do well to subscribe. Follow us on our social media handles. Like and share. And drop your comments in the comment section. My name remains Benjamin Agbile. Do well to enjoy the rest of the weekend. Thank you.